Whenever we go out to a Chinese restaurant, my wife Melanie orders Kung Pao. This classic combo of chicken, peppers, and peanuts and a ginger garlic sauce is a mainstay of American Chinese cuisine. With a sweet and savory soy sauce, the traditional dish focuses on chicken, peanuts, hot peppers, and spring onions. I wanted to come up with a home kitchen version of her favorite dish that's big on flavor and has just the right amount of heat. Next time she craves Chinese, I want her to say, "Will you make me some Kung Pao?" instead of saying, "Let's get takeout." Start by preparing the chicken. I use chicken thighs because they're more flavorful and tender than chicken breasts, but you can use chicken breasts if you prefer. One of the classic techniques of Asian cooking is called velveting. You add baking soda to the meat, and what this does is it raises the pH level of the meat. This prevents the proteins in the meat from bonding as strongly in the cooking process, and it's a lot less tough to chew through. Next, add the 5-spice blend, a teaspoon of baking soda, and some fresh ground pepper. One of the things that you really need to make sure not to do when you're velveting the meat is to add anything acidic like rice wine or rice wine vinegar. This will create kind of like a caustic fume. It's pretty much what you want to do when you want to do the volcano experiment with your kids, and it's definitely not delicious. Mix the baking soda and spices in with the chicken and let it velvet for about 20 minutes until you're done preparing the rest of the ingredients. I cook with a lot of ginger, and peeling ginger isn't really my favorite thing, but I found that the best way to do it is to just use a spoon. So just drag the spoon across like so. It's a very thin skin. See how it gets down in those crevices pretty well. Boy, that smells really good. That is really fragrant. I square off the bottom of the ginger so that it doesn't roll. If you don't want the chunks to be so big, you can grate the ginger with the microplane. The microplane gets it really fine. For me, nothing beats the aromatic, pungent flavor and smell of fresh garlic and ginger. But if you don't have the time to mince them, you can use something like this that you can get in your produce section at your store. This is already pre-minced ginger and garlic, and they taste delicious. I'm going to use 5 healthy-sized cloves of garlic. Peeling garlic is not my favorite because it's really sticky, but running it under some water helps. Once I've got a basic chop, I go over the larger pieces again for a fine mince. A smaller mince makes the flavor more consistent throughout the whole dish. Bell pepper is not a traditional ingredient, but you see it a lot in Kung Pao, and I like it because it adds some texture and the flavor blends well. It also makes the dish more nutritious. Gotta get your veggies after all. Dice the bell pepper into approximately 3/4 inch pieces, and you'll be able to pick them up easily with chopsticks. Traditional Kung Pao calls for spring onions like I have here, but you can use green onions. I like them in big chunks. When I was a kid, I hated water chestnuts. My mom used to make us this stuff called Chungking chow mein. It was this disgusting sauce with water chestnuts and bean sprouts that you would pour over these crunchy noodles that tasted like cardboard. And she loved it for some reason, but it was gross. I really developed a hatred for water chestnuts. But when I married Melanie, they're one of her favorite things, so we get a lot of stuff that has them in it, and I've grown to really like them. They soak up the sauce really well, they've got a neutral flavor, and they've got a great crunch. These little firecrackers are Sichuan chilies. They're quite spicy, and if you add too many of them, you're gonna overpower your dish. I'm gonna add 8 or 10 to my dish, and I'm also gonna add a pinch of red chili flakes, because I really want a lot of chili kick. I ordered these guys on Amazon. Soios is the brand, and they say mild hot. And I tried them, they're not that hot. I think it's a good idea to try the ingredients, make sure you're okay with them. If your chilies are too hot for you, then they might make your dish too hot, so just be careful. If you're having a hard time finding Chinese cooking wine, you can substitute sherry. I tried it both ways and I had a hard time telling the flavors apart. But I ordered my cooking wine on Amazon and it came the next day. Now that all of your ingredients are prepared, we're ready to cook. I love this hex-clad wok. It retains the heat and you can use metal utensils. We're going to fry these peanuts until they're just toasted, and then we're gonna remove them with a slotted spoon. Don't over toast the peanuts because they can get a bitter flavor. Add the chicken to the hot oil and stir constantly until it's brown. It's starting to get a nice brown color now. Add the chilies and the chili flakes, garlic and ginger. Oops, I added all the ginger. Next time I'll be more careful. Woo! Spicy. Add the sauce and cook it a bit until it starts to thicken. Keep stirring. It's a hot wok and you don't want to burn the garlic. Add the vegetables and just keep stirring until the onions are turning bright green and starting to soften. It's really important not to overcook the vegetables. You want them to have a bit of brightness and crunch. You can serve this on brown or white rice, but I'm gonna have mine on a bed of mixed greens that I've just tossed in some oil and vinegar. That is delicious. That's as good as any Kung Pao I've ever had.